is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Guys Podcast, Episode 2. We made it. Today, we're going to drown ourselves in some water. Because today, we got a faculty review for you.
The 1998 film written by Kevin Williamson.
Which felt a lot like Scream and I Know It Last Summer.
Yes, it felt a lot like that.
Which, if you don't know, were also written by Kevin Williamson.
Starring Josh Hartnett. And a bunch of other people.
Elijah Wood, Jordana Brewster, Clea Duvall.
Jean Grey from the original X-Men movies.
John Williams? No, not John Williams.
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart.
Selma Hayek.
Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, Bobby from Scary Movie.
A lot of people in this movie. Now, The Faculty. What did you think of the movie?
I liked it. It was pretty good.
One of the more decent movies, considering next week...
it was pretty funny.
We're looking at Ghost Ship, which will be filmed right after this. And the week after that, we're looking at Fear Farm, which will be filmed...
That weird-ass movie.
A couple of days later. Couple days, maybe. Tomorrow night, you get the podcast in the morning, you're waking up with us.
Not in that way.
We know you, little creep, wanting to wake up with us. Call me.
Don't call him.
But anyways, you'll get the podcast tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night, round 6, 7-ish, Hard Eye spoiler stream coming at you live. Other than that, ranking video, April 16th.
Over Halloween.
Yep, Halloween series. Me and Josh are going to put our Halloween rankings up to the audience. And Dead Man's Curve and look for a Cherry Falls review probably April. I'm going to say that, probably April. Also, so those are your 3 other videos. Rest of March, I got 3 ranking videos. A couple of them, we got my top 10 hated horror movies.
That'll get demonetized.
My top 10 horror movies that surprised me.
That'll will also probably get demonetized.
And, what was the other one?
Basically, all 3 of these videos will get demonetized.
I think top 10 hated horror movies that I actually enjoy.
So...
that might not get demonetized.
yeah, that one might not. The other 2 definitely will, though.
Especially when we get to my top 3 in the hated horror movies.
Mainly the top 2.
But this is the second episode of The Faculty.
The second episode of the podcast.
The podcast, yeah.
Not The Faculty.
No,
That's
not
what
The
we're
Faculty.
covering.
That's what we're covering. Anyways, we've been talking for a while. Faculty came out in 1998, and it's an alien-type movie. It's an invasion-type movie.
Yeah, so it's about this race of aliens that take over a high school by basically brainwashing all the teachers and students. And a group of 5 or 6 people have to stop the aliens by stabbing them with this drug that Josh Hartnett's character made.
That is what is found out to be the cure. Now, this movie, I was watching it yesterday, and I actually had really good fun time, because if you just let your guard down, I know this movie's been pandered by the critics, but if you just let your guard down and say, hey, I'm going to enjoy this movie, you'll enjoy this movie.
It's pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
Especially with Josh Hartnett's character.
One of the quotes I remember is, he's like, I leave for 5 fucking minutes and everybody turns into goddamn aliens.
Oh, Usher's in this movie as well.
He could Usher. He was heavily advertised for this movie, even though he's only in, 10, 15 minutes of the entire movie. But, anyways, that was The Faculty. We're not in this podcast is far from being over.
Yeah. No.
This is our summary. We're going to get into what are the portion we review. And then we talk about things we liked, things we hated.
I didn't really hate anything in this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, first time I really didn't have a bunch of hates. Now, wait till we get to Fear Farm.
I have a shit ton of hates in that.
I enjoyed it.
I just don't understand how those people are that stupid. But I can say that because I'm not in that situation.
Anyways, let's get into the review portion of the podcast. Let me pull up notes so I don't just sit here and forget half the movie. Anyways, the review portion of The Faculty. And before we review, I want to talk about the main question that we propose in every horror movie review we've done. Does it hold up?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yeah,
For me.
yes and no. And it's certain things yes and certain things no.
Now, the plot, it's getting remade. I talked about that in one of the news videos.
It'll probably be bad. Unless Kevin Williamson writes it again.
I think I don't know who, I think it was the dude who did Speak No Evil's doing it. I'm not 100% sure, but I could be
Directing it or writing it?
writing it, I think.
Huh.
Let me fact check myself real quick on that.
You gotta get ready to do the Clayface movie.
Yeah, remake. Faculty remake. Let me pull that up. No, the companion writer and director Hugh Hancock Rodriguez is set to produce.
Huh, okay. Well,
And Robert Rodriguez will be returning. The director will be returning to produce. So the dude who did
haven't
Companion,
seen Companion yet, so I don't really...
that's coming to Blu-ray April 1st. So yeah, I don't know if that'll ever be. It'll be on the podcast one day, not
Anytime soon.
soon. Not in the next year, probably.
So,
Maybe in the next year. Depends on what I bump up to. Made a lot of change on the schedule. Like we pushed Scream off completely.
yeah.
That'll be ending. You'll probably ending the year with that, or January next year will be just Scream.
So what are your thoughts on the film?
I think it really holds up. Maybe the effects. Now these are '90s effects, so they're not really that good.
I didn't think the aliens looked bad, though.
The alien for the once actually didn't look bad.
Yeah, no, the alien actually looked pretty
A
cool.
lot of movies, aliens look pretty bad.
Yeah.
Name a few. What are you thinking? Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yes.
The Alien in Alien is probably the best looking alien I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That one. So this one holds up pretty good. When you finally meet the Queen, which we'll talk about later in our review of this.
And the reveal of the Queen shocked me who it was.
You just didn't think it.
Yeah, no.
Like the first time I watched it, I was like, huh, I never really thought that. Because, well, whoever they were predicting to be in the movie, who they eventually think the alien queen is who I actually thought it would be. And then I found out, hey, it wasn't. So
Yeah.
it actually was pretty surprising and shocking for me.
I did like that one scene when all of them had to take the drug.
And they're all just high out for
Yeah.
asses.
You got Josh Hartnett holding a gun, laughing, going,
Another thing, tomorrow in the Hard Ice spoiler stream, stick around for that. We'll be talking about Hard Eyes and some other stuff, maybe. Maybe some Hard Eyes will be mine. We'll probably stick around for like an hour or so talking about that movie. Be sure to check that out. Might not have some surprise dropping for the channel. Surprise shit dropping for the channel. Not 100% sure. This podcast, my life tonight is I'm going to film 2 podcasts and I'm going to edit this and have it out to you by 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. Yay, and Josh will take over next week.
Yep.
And then I'm going to film the Fear Farm podcast tomorrow, and we're hopefully going to have that out to you over the next week after, so I'm going to be up ahead. And that is because that would be my spring break, and I won't be here to film. So, yeah, that's some of the updates for the channel. Now, we've been talking for about 9 minutes. Half about the faculty, half letting my mind wander. Feel free to drop any comments in the comment section what you think of this podcast. Now, without further ado, let's get into the review. Alright, The Faculty. Pulling up my notes. Make sure I have the right movie pulled up and I don't talking about Friday the 13th Part 8 again. I don't want to talk about that for a while.
Yeah, please, no.
Alright, we pick up at a high school in Ohio. They set this movie in Ohio. So if aliens are going to invade the Earth, just take this movie's fact and they're going to Ohio. Which, in the movie, it's kind of explained well by Casey. If you're going to invade, why would you take down the White House when you can just enter the back door unannounced?
Yeah.
So yeah, they start in a place that nobody would think. So if you were invading the Earth, would you go to Los Angeles or would you go to like a small town in Ohio? Where you could sneak in, slowly take over.
Probably.
And by the time they figure it out, it's too late. Which is, I think, is expertly portrayed in the movie. They sneak in through Ohio, and by the time that the students figure out, most of the faculty
And most of the students
have already been taken over, so it's just a select few that can actually help take them down.
There were some cool deaths in this movie too, though, that happened
But
a little bit later.
We open with the football coach in the high school. He's pissed, as usual. That dude just stays pissed throughout the whole movie. He's played by Robert Patrick.
Not really. When he's the alien, he's very happy.
When he gets to the alien, he doesn't die, spoiler alert, but when he doesn't get taken, when he gets the alien out of him, when they exorcise the alien out of his butthole. Is that what they do?
No.
These when they exercise the aliens, they come crawling out of every crevice in your body. So they through your head.
Yeah.
So, no head. And we're already demonetized.
Yeah. So, the coach is the first one that gets it.
Flips.
Taken over by the alien.
Flips the water thing. Head over.
Yeah. And then he goes in and asks the principal for a pencil. And
I
then
need a pencil.
stabs her with it when she finally gives it to him.
And they're like, the school, while they're doing that, we see a scene of them. They're like, well, we're not going to let your drama trip go on a theater trip to New York. We're not going to give you new computers. We're only going to support the football team because that's what makes us money.
And one of the teachers is always drunk until he gets taken over by the alien.
And in the meantime, this is something I find funny, is the entire time while they're doing this conversation, you see the coach, or this is later in the movie, but the coach is just pouring
drinking water
the entire scene.
He drinks like 8 cups of water in a span of a couple minutes.
But yeah, she's attacked by the football coach, and it's a really cool chase scene. The football coach can run. Robert Patrick can run.
Yeah. Well, he learned it from Terminator.
Yeah, true. And finally, she gets her keys. She gets to the door, and Miss Olsen stabs her. And it's revealed that, hey, Miss Olsen's already been taken over.
Yeah.
And every time they kill somebody, the aliens go, I've always wanted to do this.
And that part made no sense to me.
Maybe in their planet, that's what they dreamed about. I don't know. That's just, every time they kill somebody or do something cool, it's like, I've always wanted to do this.
I took it as the aliens made them want to secretly do what they've been wanting to do to their bosses.
So they're bringing out their
coworkers.
most wanted desires?
Yeah.
Because they're pissed at, like, a no field trip. Fuck!
Yeah, something like that.
No school musical. Drama teacher gonna go up there and shove Oklahoma scripts up everybody's ass. That kind of stuff. But the following morning, then the students arrive. We meet Casey, who is the photographer and the nerd. We meet...
Played by Elijah Wood.
Yeah, we meet Delilah. She's the paper's... I think she's like the editor-in-chief or something.
Played by Jordana Brewster.
The popular cheerleader girl. We meet Stan, the football player, which is Delilah's boyfriend, which she's not very nice to him.
I didn't think they were dating.
They were, because...
Because didn't he go with the girl with the short hair?
That's at the end of the movie.
I didn't think they ever broke.
Yeah, they were dating.
Oh.
Stan is her boyfriend. He's treated well because there's a part of the movie he's like, well, I'm going to quit football. And she goes, then what are you going to do? And he tells her, and she's like, I don't think you're smart enough to do that. High school,
The kid was complaining about getting an A+ for winning in a football game. I mean...
He goes, yeah, I worked hard for that D. That was my D, and it was special to me.
That made me laugh.
I bust out laughing. We meet Zeke. He's
smart. He's smart, but...
He applies his smarts to making drugs and selling porn.
You know.
Which is, like, useful... You used to have
Tries to sell condoms to a teacher.
And
that seems hilarious.
We meet him, and we find out he's repeating his senior year because instead of taking his finals, he just decided to repeat.
Yeah, he just skipped. And he wants to bank his teacher. So bad. It seemed like.
And that's where we get introduced to the drugs. They're in a pen.
Played by Famke Janssen, who is Jean Grey from the original X-Men trilogy.
Then we meet the transfer student, Mary Beth
Yep.
Louise. And she's just, Southern girl, just new at school, trying to find a way, and she befriends. First person we meet is Stokely, which is. They try to. What is Stokely again? She's played by Clea Duvall.
They're trying to.
They make fun of her for being a lesbian.
They
but
think
she's
she's-
not. They
yeah,
think
they
she's a
think
lesbian,
she's a
and they make fun of
lesbian.
her for it.
She usually. She really doesn't do much. She has a huge crush on the quarterback of the football team.
And
And he's like amazed when she tells him that she watches the games.
they
He's
get,
basically like, a girl watching football? What?
and that is basically your character introductions for the movie. Now, let's actually get into the action of the movie, because they spend like 5, 10, 15 minutes at most
Yeah.
introducing these characters. You see their life. Casey gets taken the hell out with, I think, a ball or something. He has a bloody nose.
Yeah.
These two students wreck into each other and get out and start beating ass.
It was hilarious. It was these two girls, too.
They start
And
beating ass.
they're like, what the fuck? And they just start fighting.
And that...
Nobody breaks it up. Just let it happen.
I ain't breaking that shit up.
Yeah, no.
I would not break that shit up. No, hell no. But anyways, we meet the characters. And I think they did this pretty well. Not a lot of horror movies spend the time this movie to introduce you to the characters and
no.
getting to know them. Which actually makes you feel for them more.
It also makes them very likable.
They're likable, and you feel for them more because you actually get to spend the time meeting and introducing them.
I felt bad for Bobby of Scary Movie this entire movie. He just kept getting beat up the entire time by his girlfriend. She kept slapping him and hitting him.
Fuck you! Fuck you! I was
His
like,
girlfriend was played by Joaquin Phoenix's sister,
Summer Phoenix.
Summer Phoenix. So
So I think the alien that infected her is very abusive.
I think she was abusive before the alien
It
affected
just
her.
brought out more abuse.
I guess.
Because that's all she does.
Because
is
even
abuse.
towards the end of the movie, she's still
beating
hitting
the
him,
shit out of this dude.
calling him a bitch and hitting him.
But yeah, meeting these characters is something that actually makes you feel for them when they get hurt. None of them die. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, none of them died.
None of them die. Except for one, which we will get to later.
Yeah.
But you actually feel for them. And when they get infected, you feel for them. Because a few of them do get infected.
Yes.
And you actually feel for them. Because I felt bad later in the movie when they got infected because I'd spent so much time with them learning who they are. And this is something I like movies to do. Like movies that actually take time to teach you your characters. Like Scream. You actually spent time with the characters in school.
I like Stu anyway, even when he was revealed to be the killers.
Like some of these horror movies we're going to watch later here, you don't spend much time learning about these characters.
Friday the 13th.
Part 8, you're just thrown right into the action.
Or
You don't-
any Friday the 13th movie,
Part
really.
6 you release. You spend some time with
Besides-
Part 6.
The reboot in Part 6.
You actually spend time learning with these characters. Learning about them. And that actually adds to the aura of this movie.
Yep.
Because I actually felt bad for them. I felt... If I don't know the character, I'm not going to care when they get their fucking head chopped off
Yeah,
and
no.
sent in the mail to their mother.
So, Jon Stewart plays the science teacher,
Yeah.
and they discover this new species in class, which becomes which is actually the alien.
Mr. Furlong, who he leaves it to be a new species, and they put it in a tank. And then we flip to Delilah and Casey, who are investigating the teacher's lounge.
And then he starts sniffing her hair in the closet.
But they're investigating because the old lady,
Yeah, walked into the
the shower,
showers with the
And-
quarterback.
and just her skin started melting.
And they start blaming it on her having cancer. And I'm like,
But anyways, they don't believe it, so they're looking and
Yeah.
snooping, and they end up in this closet, and they find her dead body, and the coach and the principal are all in there. And
Well, the
they
principal's not in there.
just, not yet.
Not yet. No, it's the teacher that killed the principal, or that infected the principal.
And
the teacher.
then they see them also infect
Yep.
Selma Hayek, which is the school nurse.
But Elijah Wood starts sniffing the hair of Jordana Brewster. And she seems to like it. It's weird.
And yeah, they force the so basically they get in the closet and they force Parasite into the nurses.
And then they
Find the dead body.
they
in the
find the
closet.
dead body, and then Elijah Wood stabs the football coach with a broom, and they start running.
And Elijah Wood.
And then the principal finds them outside and was like, "What's wrong?"
And they're like, they killed her, and then the nurse steps out,
Yeah,
and now
and-
the nurse is infected.
And they're all infected. And then Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore
plays
plays Elijah Wood's father, and it is hilarious.
because he's over this shit. He's blaming it on porn.
Yeah, he takes. So, the cops go there to investigate, and one of the cops gets infected, and then Elijah Wood goes back home to his house, and his dad starts taking away everything in his room, and his mom's like, "The porn's underneath his bed." So the dad grabs his bed up, grabs the porn, and takes it out of the room with his music, and then when they thought someone came to the door, the dad was just sitting there reading the porn.
And meanwhile, I want to point out something funny in this chase scene that Casey eats absolute shit.
Yes. Just slides on the floor. Jordana Brewster just leaves him, like darts out and leaves him.
But also a funny thing about the dad was he also, when Casey is trying to sneak out, he falls off of his roof and the infected surround him where you think, and then the dad comes in and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
While he's reading the magazine. So, and then we skip to the next day when they're all back at school, and the dad gets infected when he drops him off by
There
Robert.
you think the dad.
Yeah,
gets
you
infected.
think by Robert Patrick.
And so then they meet, and Casey tells them that they think they're being controlled by aliens. And little do they know that Zeke and Mary Beth are in the other room.
Josh
And-
Hartnett thinks it would be funny to come in there and scare them.
So he acts like he's infected, and he just calls Casey a dumbass and nerd. And then you get that, and then you realize that the alien is missing from the thing, and they're like, "Oh, well, we sent it to university." No, you didn't. The teacher comes in, and they're like, "Well, Casey thinks you're an alien," and he's like, "Oh, is that true?" And then he starts attacking them.
Yeah.
Doesn't even try to hide it.
Nope.
Just starts attacking them.
And then this is where you find out that the drug that Josh Hartnett's character makes is the one that is the thing that cures or kills the alien.
Because for one cool thing is they chop off his fingers, and they just
Yeah, they just start crawling
crawling
on the
back
floor.
on. But Josh Hartnett stabs him in the eye with drugs that is, I think it's supposed to be like caffeine.
Yeah, it's like a caffeine pill mixture with others.
And they do that, and the dude starts foaming, and that's what ends up killing the alien. The alien
Needs water.
needs water, is what it is.
So the drug dehydrates the body and the alien and kills the alien.
Yeah.
Then you actually see Josh Hartnett's character is smart when they leave the school and go to his house and find his science lab in his garage.
Yeah, and then every time now to show that they're not infected, everybody's in his little house, and they make everybody take the drug. You gotta store it, so you gotta.
Yeah, and then when Jordana Brewster goes to do it, you find out she's
They're all
infected.
crawling through her face, and then they're like, "Shoot her, shoot her, Casey, shoot her." Casey's like frozen because he doesn't want to shoot her because he likes her.
Yeah.
And so Clea Duvall's character just grabs a gun and goes, "I'll fucking do it." Shoots and misses.
And then
Josh Hartnett gets thrown
Yeah.
through the lab so they can't make no more drugs.
No, she destroyed the lab.
Yeah.
And then she runs off and gets in the car with. Who did she get in the car with?
I don't know.
She got into a car with someone that was infected.
So then after that, they figure it out that, hey, this is a hive mind, so we're going to kill the queen. So that starts off a new section of the movie where
They go
after
to the
that,
football game
they
to
go to the football
kill
game.
the
the queen.
queen. And they think it's the principal, so they get the principal in the room, shoot her. After
They try to force her to
yeah,
take the
they
drug.
try to force her, and then she won't do it. And they're like, maybe wrong about who it is, and then Josh Hartnett shoots her in the head.
And it's revealed she's not the queen. But before we talk about the finale of this movie, let's talk about that football scene because they're just fucking the other team
Yeah,
off.
the football team is just beating down on the other team and then
infecting
infecting them.
Like, they'll tackle somebody and then all get on top of them
And then,
and infect them.
so then you find out when the quarterback goes outside to try to...
He thinks it's the coach.
Yeah, he thinks it's the coach. Well, it turns out it's not the coach. It's actually...
We're not going to reveal that yet because there's an
Well,
incredible
that happened
chase scene.
after... Well, yeah. So they start chasing... Josh
Stan.
Hart... Yeah, Josh...
Stan.
Yeah, they chase Stan, and then you find out Stan got infected.
Because they're like, they make him take the drug, and when he does, he just dumps it out like that. But there's also a cool chase scene with Josh Hartnett and Elijah Wood. Because Elijah Wood becomes the decoy so Josh Hartnett can get to his thing. Because little do they know that Mary Beth uses all the drugs on the principal.
Yep.
So he has to go find more in his car, or see if he has more in his car.
And then
So-
that's when the chase scene happens. Elijah Wood ends up on hiding in a school bus, and then Jordana Brewster's character comes out and's like, "Join us."
And he gets out the top of the bus and jumps off. And then you get to Zeke in his car.
And his teacher that he was trying to sell the condoms and laxatives to.
Might I remind you, we find out she's infected way earlier when she just
Yeah.
decides to destroy that man's
Yeah, it
self-confidence.
talks about how his parents don't love him and all this, but she's like, she goes to his car and was like, how about we use that condom? And was like, and then basically gets in the car after him. He wrecks the car on purpose,
And launches her
launches her, her head gets cut off, but then she grows like
Tentacles.
tentacles
and crawls back to her
yeah.
body.
And,
And
then
that's
he's
how
like,
she survives at the end of the movie.
he's like, fuck this shit.
Goes back, and then we find out that the actually infected is Mary Beth, is the alien queen.
And the reason why she was able to take the drugs
She shut off her nostrils. Closed her nostrils.
she closed her nostrils, but then she had her finger and knocked the
little
drug
thing,
out.
Knocked the drug out, and yeah. And while Jordana Brewster was turning, that's how she was able to get away with it because they weren't paying attention to her. But so then we have this big scene where it's the final battle. Clea Duvall is revealed to be infected too, so they lock her in the equipment room.
And then Elijah Wood has this big chase scene that ends in the gym.
And before that, though, Murray taking over Earth because her planet is dying.
Yeah.
That's why the aliens are here. There's their motive. Their planet is dying.
And then she takes out Josh Hartnett pretty easily.
And
then
ends with a Casey is in the bleachers, retracts them.
So his plan is to run through the bleachers while they're closing in to trap the alien and stab him with the drug. And when he does that, you start seeing the aliens like crawl into his face, and you're like, oh no. But then they just fall out, and the alien's
they're
dead.
because the queen is dead,
Yeah.
which is the hive mind, because they're pretty much a hive
So
mind.
everyone's back to normal. Even Jon Stewart's character, who got his fingers chopped off and stabbed in the eye at the end, was having an eye patch on, and he still had his missing fingers, but he was alive. And
then the teacher had just something wrapped around her neck because her head got cut off.
So then you had, at the end, Josh Hartnett's character is now on the football team, and his teacher is in the stands watching him.
Clea Duvall's character and Stan get together.
Yep.
They're now a thing.
And then
Casey and Delilah are a new couple, which you kind of saw coming. Nerd gets the girl in the end, and then it ends with the press coming up to interview Elijah Wood, and you see a bunch of magazines thrown down, like Local Hero, All Myth.
from like Time Magazine,
and he's like on the cover of all these things because they guess stopping an alien invasion gets that, and people are like Fact or Hulk, and the FBI denies it.
And then you have Bobby from Scary Movie getting his ass kicked at the end of the movie by his girlfriend. Again.
They are still beating the shit, or she's still beating the shit out of him. And roll credits. That is the end of the Faculty. And yep, that is how the movie closes. Will they do this in the remake? No, it'll probably be horrible.
So, what is your rating out of 1 being Insidious live show bad and 10 being really good?
I'd put my rating system as 1 to 10. 1 being the Insidious live show, 10 being tickles my booty hole,
Okay,
which we established in the last podcast.
then what number would?
I give this a 7.
I actually give it a 7.5 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Holds up pretty well. Now, before we go, I'm going to stick around 5 or 10 minutes and we're just going to do some closing thoughts on not the Insidious live
Oh,
show.
thank God! I'm not hearing that.
But this might be a little bit of a shorter one. It may not be.
Start watching more of the other videos. Besides Insidious live show, I mean, come on.
He's saying that because he knows that if it keeps getting views, I'll make more.
Just watch the other ones, like about Stu coming back and Dewey and
Keep
his
watching
gaming one, and
Keep watching the Insidious live show.
watch that one too. But watch the other ones as well.
Watch. And also, you can watch more than 3 minutes of them.
Yeah. I know we talk a lot, but damn.
The reason there's no movie footage in there is because I don't want to get sued to hell.
Right?
If I even put a picture of the movie in there half the time, I'm probably going to get sued to hell.
So,
I might start putting pictures in.
at this point, why not?
I might put some pictures in. I'm not going to put clips yet. I don't think we have that big of a layaway yet to put in clips. I don't know how that works for sure because I don't want to get sued to hell, especially by Sony. Sony sue you to hell.
Well, you know the Weinsteins can't sue us.
But, like,
This was a Miramax movie too, so.
yeah, because I remember when they popped up in the credits, I was like, that's not good. Calendar-wise, this drops February or March 7th.
February.
This was supposed to drop in February. It's
So,
supposed to be dropped last week instead of Friday the 13th Part 2, but we pushed back by a week.
So,
This was originally supposed to be... We were supposed to be doing
go shoot.
Ghost Ship this week. But plans changed. Now, again, thank you for watching this podcast on The Faculty. This movie was pretty short and pretty cut to clear. It's not convoluted, so like we don't have to have a fucking 45-minute conversation like we did last week for Jason. Because I had so much shit to talk about that movie. I don't have a lot of shit to talk about this movie. I enjoyed it. Now, Ghost Ship is going to be filmed right after this. And then tomorrow, Fear Farm is being filmed right before the live show. So if you notice we're in the same clothes in these videos, it's because they're being filmed
Back to back.
back to back.
So,
Make sure... Okay, let's close it out. Make sure to reel it in. My weird news for you. Don't lather yourself in popcorn seasoning. I know you want to look tasty, but that's not how you get women. Or men, if you're into men. Totally okay with that. Anyways, I'm going to go bathe in limeade from Sonic and rub chili dogs up my butthole. I'm not going to do that. Anyways, see you in the next podcast, guys.